I had been involved with many different gurus and yogis, and I had taken initiation from different spiritual masters. But the interesting thing is that I had met one spiritual master who taught me for about almost 3.5 years. But he always told me that he was not my guru. So one day, I took initiation from Sri Chinmoy. And then I came back and saw this previous teacher. And I mentioned how I found my guru now. He's given me initiation, and he explains and says that he is a Jagat Guru. So this first teacher kind of laughed. And he said, he's only a Mayavadi. And then he began to explain what the Mayavadism is and personalism. And he went on to say, do you really want to know who the Jagat Guru is? Now by now he had let me know that that meant a very highly evolved spiritual teacher, a teacher of teachers. And so he paused, and then he asked me again. He said, do you really want to know? And by the time I was getting a little nervous, but I was more curious. And so then he asked the third time. He says, do you really want to know? And I says, yes. And he said, Srila Prabhupada, the spiritual master of the Hare Krishna movement. Now, during these 3.5 years where he was previously teaching me, every now and then he was teaching me what's called Raja Yoga and Astanga Yoga, a lot of kind of metaphysical things. But he would always say, I'm not your guru. But every now and then he would say something or explain something, but he would say, but Prabhupada says like this, or Prabhupada has done like this. And I thought Prabhupada was maybe his uncle or some friend of his. And so when he mentioned that name again, it rang a bell. And he says, when he told me that Srila Prabhupada, the spiritual master of the Hare Krishna movement, I was devastated. Because I had saw the devotees 2 different times. And I thought they were very weird, unusual. And I was thinking, you mean those people who wear the bed sheets? Who put war paint on their face? And go around jumping down in the streets with tennis shoes on and mismatched socks? You mean they are connected with something that is very advanced, very high? He said their spiritual master is a spiritual master of spiritual masters. And they have the higher knowledge on the planet. And now it was really bewildering. Because here I've been with this person for 3.5 years. He was a tremendous mystic. He read minds and he had all kind of powers and shaktis. And he had never cheated me or disappointed me. And he always told me that he wasn't my guru. So I had, I was in a dilemma. So I decided I would go and explore with the idea that I was really trying to prove to myself that for some reason he's lied to me. So I got as many books as I could from the devotees. And I went to visit the temple in New York, and I would go and hear Bhagavad Gita class. I would go and hear the devotees talk, just to find fault. But the more that I studied the books, the more I became convinced. And as I talked to devotees, I saw there's all different types of devotees. And some are serious, some are less serious. And I saw that there were some problems, but I realized those who are following are very special, and the philosophy was very special. So then after that, I came back to him at some point, because after studying like that for 6 months, then I decided to join. And I joined. I went to Dallas to help Satsu Maharaj in the Gurukula. But now once, a couple of years later, I saw that same teacher. And I wanted to ask him some questions, and ask him a few questions. And he became furious, very furious. He said, you have met the spiritual master of the universe. And now you're coming back to me, asking me questions. He said, you're not going to get me to make offenses to such great soul. He said, when Srila Prabhupada came to America, there were many, these are his words, spiritual teachers who knew of his calling. and who should have assisted him. He said, I stopped teaching when Prabhupada came to America. Then he began to explain, I taught you all of these things because I saw you were so entangled, so interested in such things, and I realized that this would help you in your service with Prabhupada in the future. He said, now, you leave here and don't you ever come back again.